evening, everybody. Welcome to another round here of the Monday Night Open Wheel Championship, coming to you live this week from Watkins, Glen. It is round number 10, the NASCAR, pretty much a NASCAR layout without the chicane. And we got a great race in store for you tonight. Before we go any further, welcome Brad Maris to the broadcast.
Yeah, thanks, Al. So, we got 3 rounds remain in this championship, right? I think tonight, Al, that the guys lining up next to you might not be as big a deal as maybe the nature of the track, the Armcos around here. I tell you, only 6 corners, but there's some pretty dicey corners around here. And once we get a full grid kind of thundering through the valley here at the Watkins Glen, it can be tough for these guys to keep the car kind of bright side up, Al.
Yeah, the track is, some of these corners are very inviting, but a little bit dangerous in terms of overtaking opportunities. This layout's actually very quick and some very high-speed corners around this place. Let's take a quick look at the track map for tonight. As you can see, this is without the chicane there. Eliminate turns 5 and 6, so just like Brad said, 7 corners around this place, and it's going to be one heck of a race for some of these guys. Very important race for some of these guys in the championship. We got Philippe Samard, who's lost out, missed points the last 2 weeks, and his teammate has now caught up to him and has tied him in the championship for the drivers. So they're tied for second, quite a bit off of Kevin Kirkbride, who is currently leading the championship. But the team championship's a little bit tighter, Brad. I think it's 29 points between first and second, and a lot of points can be won or lost for the teams week after week.
Yeah, that championship has tightened up, particularly with what happened last week. Of course, it was Podium Hunters giving up a few points to those guys there last week. You know, I tell you, with the exception of Kevin Kirkbride out there at the front, this actually is a pretty close championship, right? All the guys there, everybody except that first place, it's pretty close, and really all those guys are in the mix. So if anything does happen to Kevin Kirkbride here over the next couple races, that could really bring a whole bunch of drivers back into play for that championship. But yeah, the team classification, the drivers' championship, all those guys still doing what they've been doing so good all year, and that's keeping it consistent and on track. Another test to go here tonight, though. So, and this one could be a little bit more luck inspired with the short nature of the track and some of the traffic.
All right, let me just do some housekeeping here. I got to skip this session over. For some reason it's not working. There's someone connecting to the server, so I got to wait for them to get in.
Yeah, a couple minutes behind, turning over to qualifying session. The drivers won't mind getting those extra laps or 2 if they want them.
Al, it's Chris.
Yeah, someone's trying to connect, so I'm trying to flip it over now.
This has happened before. You might have to restart. It's like a phantom car or something like that.
All right. Hold on.
Seen this once before.
Yeah, so I guess we'll give it another minute or 2 and then fire up the server if we have to, huh?
Yeah. Not sure.
Fair enough.
It's time enough. I'll do it right now. So, Brad, let's keep the viewers occupied here while we do this.
What do you want me to do? Lead a song and dance? I don't,
Whatever you feel is appropriate here. Hold on one second, folks.
Well, I think it might not be a bad opportunity to remind viewers of the race we had last week. Oh, wait a minute. I need to get out of the server too, don't I?
Yeah, we just left. All right, so we're just gonna reconnect here. 1 second, folks. Sorry. These things do happen from time to time. And we'll jump back in.
Yeah, well, that's going on. Monza. My great race last week, actually. Ian Jolicoeur coming away with that win last week by some 11 seconds over a very great run by Kevin Lichmansky coming in second on that one. Now Jake Feemster rounded out the podium. So that was a pretty cool race last week, and a couple drivers up there on the podium we might not otherwise expect to see.
Yeah, it was a great run from Kevin, of course, but Jake's drive was pretty impressive. He got around a few guys there near the end of the race to take that third spot. So, all right, well, server's back up here. This thing will get started once all the guys get back in, which is happening quickly. And oh well, we got some time here. Let's run down the point standings for tonight's through 9 rounds. Kevin Kirkbride, as I mentioned, he's our championship leader with 140 points. Philippe Samard and Ian Jolicoeur now tied for second with 116. Zach Hefner has 114 points. And man, I got my points things all screwed up here.
Yeah, 152 for Kevin Kirkbride at the top.
Yeah, I apologize for that. 152 for Kirkbride. Philippe Samard and Jolicoeur tied for second with 116. Hefner in third with 114. Taylor 108 in fourth. And Houston in fifth with 92. The team championship, what we touched on, a little bit tighter. Podium hunters, that's Kevin Kirkbride and Zach Hefner, tied with lead with 266 points. French Connection, that's Jolicoeur and Samard in second with 237. Then a bit of a gap between second and third. Captain Clutch, that's Matt Taylor and Mark DeGras with 174. Matt Taylor, unfortunately, not in attendance here tonight, can't make the race.
Oh.
And then Purple Helmets, T-Brock Dambam in fourth with 92 points, and Purple Helmets, 173. Purple Helmets with 92, and Precision Motor Racing with 91. It's a bit of a train wreck to start this one. I got everything all crossed up here trying to get these guys sorted out here, but looks like most of the guys are back in, and hopefully we can get this qualifying session underway and quit boring you with all the filler here while these guys get going. But Brad, in terms of strategy for tonight's race, I mean, what are we looking at? Well, let's start with qualifying. Have we seen some times here in the practice dip into the 107s, mid 107s for some of the quickest times in the practice session. Should we expect anything quicker than that in qualifying?
Maybe. Quite frankly, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Now, we're not going to see a lot quicker, and that's basically just due to the short nature of the track, right? You can only get so much faster in terms of percentage on length of track. So, sure. But we may. I tell you, speaking of a guy looking very sharp actually and qualifying well, Mark DeGras has been looking very fine and putting in some very nice laps here tonight. So, if you guys have picked him as the possible winner here tonight, and looking through those points, go quickly back to the team points. Captain Clutch Racing in third. You know, they're not, I don't think, mathematically quite out of it, right? And so that's a big letdown that Matt Taylor isn't here as part of that team here tonight.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the race strategy for tonight, we talked about before the race what these guys are going to be able to do. You're thinking they're going to not run it deep like we've seen in terms of pit stops. You might see guys coming in a little sooner, huh?
Well, you know, we're seeing how the strategy plays out best for these guys. I mean, eventually they're going to figure it out, right? Week after week, these guys are going to they're going to put in laps and they're going to figure out what's going to work out best for them. So in general, you want the front runners are taking slightly less fuel because they want to make sure that they can hold positions, right? So they're going to gain a little bit of lap-to-lap pace, a little less fuel on board. The guys deeper back, well, they're taking on more fuel. They're trying to eliminate time served in the pits, right, with less refueling time. So that's kind of the way it's shaken out. And I don't see any reason why that's going to play out differently here tonight. So maximum laps, we'll see guys go tonight around 40, I would say, Al.
All right, so the guys are finally out here making their out laps here to start this qualifying session. Gonna jump on board here with last week's winner, Ian Jolicoeur. He's got his teammate just ahead of him as he makes his way down the front straight and into turn 1.
Yeah, not too far in front of them either. Going to be looking for about at the 350 point between the 300, 400 meter board. But I tell you, it's the rear end really can catch you out easily, particularly going into turn 1 and then the S's. This could be a trouble spot here tonight, Al. Because you guys are really going to have to feather, because coming off of the second part of that, you can swing so close to the wall and there's just not quite enough grip on offer to keep it flat. You just have to do a little bit of a feathering on the throttle here, and then coming down up here to the, I don't know if this is actually a named corner. I know that it leads onto the straight, called the chute, but nonetheless, this is probably going to be one of the easier corners of the night for these guys, and there's still plenty of danger here. Running wide in particular can cause a big slowdown, and only 2 corners left to go on this lap here, and they are probably the most difficult corners on the track, Al. Jolicoeur is reluctant to stay in 4th, but the car is swinging back and forth as you try to get on the brakes, but the car is just, the rear end's all over the place. Man, it's going to be tough, particularly in traffic tonight, Al.
That is a lap around Watkins Glen here. As you can see, Jolicoeur fighting the car the whole way around as Samard quickly jumps into provisional pole with a 107.5. Kirkbride 4/10 off of him. Parsons jumps up to 3rd with 108.3. So currently 2 guys so far just in the opening salvo here in the 107s.
Yeah, Parsons looking a little bit sharper, I would say, in this week of official practice, though, Al.
Phil Vitt now jumps into 2nd with a 107.8, so good lap for Phil. He was looking quite sharp, actually.
He was, and looking good last week. Capped off a top 5 in that race last week. Probably could even have been better if not for some misfortune.
Parsons to the first 2 sectors, a bit off there in that second split.
Nice exit off the last turn. I think he should move up.
And he does improve to 4th. Jolicoeur in 5th, carrying a little extra success ballast from 20 kilograms after last week's win at Monza. Currently in 5th. Mark DeGras exiting the pit lanes in 6th. Jesse Olsen running in 7th for the time being. Chris Moses was looking pretty racy in the practice leading up to tonight, and currently slotted into 9th and well off in the first sector, 7/10 off as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it's hard to say, Al, if Moses was pretty much doing race fuel runs. You know, when these guys take the weight, the fuel off the car, and particularly at this track, from what I'm hearing around the paddock, the handling does change pretty significantly. So if Moses hasn't gotten any qualifying laps on the low fuel, you could have to make some setup adjustments.
Jolicoeur looking to improve. Parsons improves up to 3rd. Jolicoeur remains in 5th. No improvement for him. Phil Vitt about to complete his out lap. Let's jump on board with Phil here as he takes it for a lap around Watkins Glen and makes his way into turn 1. Not much grip to offer. This car is running wide, so this guy's going to have to be aware of that. It's pretty slick out there.
You know, the nature of this track and the nature of these cars, actually, it's you give up almost nothing by braking really early, okay, and kind of just taking a little bit more momentum, trying to keep your momentum up, right? Instead of trying to brake late and make up time under braking, it's almost impossible, really, on these cars and the nature of these turns. So you just have to go ahead and brake super early. Make sure there's plenty of front grip, right, to turn in and hold the line through the corner, and then just get whatever you can on throttle coming off. And then, of course, braking into the final corner, you have to really make sure the car is as settled as it can possibly be as you come off the second to last corner and get the car settled so you can get the braking right for the last.
Saw Vitt holding third gear going into turn number 6. Quite a bit, actually. As he comes to the line and misses out again. Unable to improve. Looked like a pretty decent lap, but off a little bit on sectors 2 and 3. Looking a little further back, Mark DeGraw back into the pit lane. A lot of guys on out laps. Alan Jacobs currently in 9th. He was best in the practice times leading up to tonight with a 108.2, and he's 2/10 off of that, so he still looks like he's got a few tenths on offer as Joel Ekman slots into 10th with a nice lap, 108.4. That's his best lap so far. Houston now jumps up to 9th with a 108.3. So nice lap from John Houston. Samard is on pace with his current pole lap, and he improves upon it with a 107.4. So he got that final sector down there in that last lap. So nice lap for Samard. That's the quickest lap we've seen to date.
It could be an important lap to increase that time a little bit, because we should expect to see the times potentially extremely close. This is the shortest track we've run, you know, on timed pace, right? So times could be very close here in this qualifying session.
Follow Jacobs here through the chute.
Yeah,
6/10 in sector 2 for Jacobs.
You almost have to kind of get lucky with how the car's reacting underneath you to hit some of these lines, Al.
So Jacobs unable to improve. Aaron Parsons out of Australia, currently in 3rd, and might just improve here, depending how might have tapped the outside wall exiting the final corner, but no, unable to improve. Joe LaCour still in 5th. DeGraw has a nice lap going here as John Houston improves to 108.3.
Yeah, as mentioned, DeGraw was looking very sharp here in the week of practice, so I would say that he has to be disappointed with his time so far.
Yeah, his best was a 107.7, and he just set a 108 flat to move Joe LaCour down a spot. So DeGraw up to 5th after that last lap. Let's see, Parsons looking to improve. Kirkbride is carrying ballast here. He is currently up to 2nd, carrying 20 kilograms of success ballast. Samard without weight for tonight's race. Had some equipment failure last week at Monza. That took him out of the race. And Parsons now quickly drops Kirkbride down a spot. So Parsons up to 2nd. Going to be his best qualifying effort in some time for Parsons.
Yeah, again, the T-Brock Dam Bam guys looking much sharper. They frankly look completely lost at Monza, just so far off the pace. And I talked to those guys, and they confirmed that they were. They were lost, so they had to reach out for some help, and it looks like it's paid off, Al.
follow Chris Moses now. 2/10 off in sector 1, 5/10 off in sector 2. And Moses, his best lap was he got into the 107s in practice, but let's see what he can do here. Just under 15 minutes to go in this qualifying session. And Moses does not improve unless, actually he lost a bunch of time there in that final sector. Phil Vitt. Notice Vitt's gearing last week too at Monza. You made mention about him holding, I think it was 4th gear, or it was gearing was a little bit too short. He was losing out a little bit. He's got a similar setup here tonight.
Well, it's not as critical here because you don't get as long a run, right? In fact, because you have to be careful through the S's, you can't hold it flat. You don't really even get benefit there going into the carousel, right? So not going to be as big a deal as it was in Monza here, coming up a little short on the gears.
Moses with a mistake. Olsen, also with a mistake here as those two guys get it wrong through the final corner. So, looking at the order here, it is Samard, followed by Parsons, Kirkbride, Vitt in 4th, and with a really nice first sector, and he's up in sector 2. Corner to get by, and a nice exit for Vitt. It's looking like a nice lap, Brad.
It is indeed. I think he's going to do it.
Ooh, he just misses out on pole with a 107.6. So a difference of just over 2/10 of a second for Phil Vitt. So nice lap for him. DeGraw remains in 5th. Cholacour currently in 6th. Moses running in 7th. Olsen in 8th. Lemansky, haven't talked about him, but he is carrying some weight after finishing 2nd last week, currently running in 9th. And this track created by Kevin, built by him, and using all kinds of satellite data and whatnot. And a very nice job by Kevin. We thank him for all the hard work he put into this track. John Houston currently running in 10th. Behind him, Alan Jacobs, followed by Joel Ekman, who's having a nice session here in 12th. Kevin Miller. Kevin Miller seems a bit off pace here. Brad currently in 13th. Had a DNF last week at Monza. And just not looking like himself here these last 2 weeks. David Zahn in 15th. As Parsons improves his time, but not his position. He is 0.05 of a second off of Vitt. John Wathen running in 16th, followed by his teammate Chuck Carter. Thomas Schubeck back in 18th. Sean Ricker running in 19th, so Ricker a bit off pace here tonight. Gary Roth was running in 20th. I thought he was with a no qual, but apparently he did not get the memo. We'll have to serve that next week. Brian Story in 21st, followed by Omar Gomez. His teammate Iggy Chioria, the Argentinian contingent, and Tom Draskell in the pit lane. So it's Samard out front. He is parked in the pit lane. Parsons on a flyer here, a bit off in the first 2 sectors. Not sure if he's going to have enough to get past Vitt here, who's currently in 2nd. And the start-finish line is kind of pretty short there, pretty close to the exit of of turn 1. So Parsons does not improve. Kirkbride about to start a lap here. Looking to pick up some positions. Top 3 cars in this session, Brad, without weight. It's
yeah.
a little different. I mean, we've seen guys with weight, Kirkbride included, qualify well or take pole, but not seeing that here so far tonight.
No, it seems like we are noticing the tracks that have more momentum type of corners that are kind of more high speed in general have a bit more of an effect when the weight's around. For whatever reason, I guess just holding momentum through the corners, I have no idea why, but it does seem to be the case that those types of tracks generally do have more of an effect, slowing people down with the weight. So, but nonetheless, it's very close up top, and I think Samard is glad right now to have made that slightly better lap, because these guys would really be nipping at his heels even more than they already are. So it's still anybody's game with 8:30 left to play out.
Watching Kirkbride there for a moment. He had a pretty good lap going, but opted to back out of it. Big slide there for Vitt. And I don't think this is going to be an improvement for him.
Olsen sure improves, though.
Yeah, Olsen jumps up to 5th. Nice lap for him and Vitt. He's not going to improve, but Kirkbride has another lap in him here. Joel Leclerc had a really nice lap going as DeGraw goes green in sector 2. Joel Leclerc had a nice lap going, got it wrong in sector 3.
Yeah, and this is where DeGraw made a little bit of a bobble there on his last good flyer. He's doing a little bit better this time through the 3rd sector. He will gain a bit again, well, DeGraw.
And he does. He picks up 1 position. Kirkbride remains in 4th.
These guys are really pushing the limits now, and they are going to start to really go ahead and just challenge the ultimate limits, really push the envelope. We'll see some of these guys really splatter their 312 all over the place off the Armco.
Big hit there from Olsen, and he doesn't improve. Lemansky has jumped up to 7th. Now that knocks Joel Leclerc back to 8th. And let's see, Moses here with a 108.2. He's a bit off the pace. Jake Feebster with a nice lap up to 10th. Oh, Houston back in 11th. He's got the win earlier this season. What was that? I want to say Silverstone, but I don't remember.
Silverstone,
yeah. So he won at Silverstone, but since then his qualifying times have been a little rocky here.
Yeah, well, for as well as teammate Aaron Parsons is doing up there toward the top. But hey, look, we've seen John Houston start not toward the front plenty of times in the past, and he's not known as a qualifying genius, right? Though, of course, he's more than capable of popping off some good ones.
Watkins improves on his time. Good enough for 15th.
Now, those times really are tightening up now. I mean, we're close to having the majority of the field within 1.5 seconds. So it is getting very close. And that, it's going to make a comment on somebody, and I forgot who it was.
Houston. He's getting it. It's a bit off in the 1st sector, and looks like he's got his hands full through sector 2. As Feebster improved on his time, and does not pick up a position. Meanwhile, Moses has now jumped up to 5th. So he's put a lap together.
That'll help him. I tell you, one thing I have heard around the paddock this week, Al, is passing could be really super difficult. Yeah, so this could be an important qualifying session for the guys who plan on trying to win this thing.
So no improvement there for Houston. Jake remains in 10th, so nice showing for Jake after last week's podium finish. Maybe it's reignited his that flame, Brad.
I hope so.
He struggling a bit earlier, most part, the first, I'd say, more than first half of the season. As Jesse Olsen now improves on his time, so he's up to 7th.
Yeah, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed actually with that Olsen time, frankly, because didn't see a lot out of him in the week of practice, but looking pretty sharp here in qualifying.
Phil Vitt went green in the first sector. Meanwhile, Kirkbride's looking very quick in the first 2 sectors. This could bring him up to a front row starting position. Comes down to that final sector. Ooh, he does not improve. He looked a little rocky there going through that those final 2 corners. It kind of bit him. He did have a good lap going. Core unable to improve. He is 9/10 off in sector 1.
That's what I was going to mention. Jolicoeur. He, by this time we would have expected to see him slip into the top 5, but he's not got it figured out yet on his typical short practice. And he only has another lap or 2 to get going here. Otherwise, this part of the one half of this team, Ian Jolicoeur, they could be in a little bit of trouble with those points here tonight, Al.
Jolicoeur now exiting the pit lane with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, only 6/10 off, but if you're just not quite there on the setup and kind of the nuances of the track on a short track like this, that's like an eternity.
So Parsons probably saw he wasn't quick, pulls it off. A little bit better first sector for John Houston. Parsons, his teammate. Where is he? Oh, nice second sector too. So this is going to be a big boost for Houston.
Could be got to hold it together coming off the last corner. I think he's done it pretty well, Al.
And Houston is going to slot into 8th.
Now this is interesting. Now it looks like the French Connection team has played a little strategy, trying to get Ian Jolicoeur further up the grid. Philippe Samard has gone out in front of Ian Jolicoeur, and he's kind of playing chase the rabbit here for Ian, but I don't know if it's going to work out because he made a bit of a mistake, but an interesting little call and strategy option these guys took here.
Right on board with Ian Jolicoeur. I think he's trying to give him a bit of a draft down the straight here.
Yeah.
We're still off in the first sector. And that's just way too much speed.
Oh.
I think plan not going to work out. I think it did work for them a little bit last week at Monza, but not this evening.
Yeah, I think that they should have just gone ahead and just put Phil Vitt out in front, run his normal line, right, and have Ian try to catch him up, because that's what he does so well. Phil Vitt, meanwhile, looking good through the SSL.
I got my eye on Vitt. He just went through the first sector. So watch Moses here come to the line. See if he can improve. He does not. He still has time for one more.
Phil Vitt still looking strong through the second sector.
He's up in sector 2.
A lot of pressure here. Last couple corners.
Oh! This waited just a little too long. And the rear of the car couldn't. He's got a little tail happy. But he's got time for one more. Let's see, did Romansky improve? He does not. Houston 3/10 off. Kirkbride unable to improve, but he is even through the first sector. nice, very nice second sector. Parsons. Checkers are out. Session is over.
Kirkbride was threatening, but I think that he has not done a good enough job there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to get it done. Vitt now. A little bit better through that. He found that little dip in the track that cost me some problems in the GT race here a couple weeks ago. But Parsons looking nice here. The last dash here for pole, and Parsons can't improve. It's even. Sectors 1 and 2. Misses out just a hair there in the final sector. So, believe that's everybody. Everybody in the pits. Ekman out there. But these are not going to count. So it is, Samard with pole position here tonight. Let's see. Here we go. So yeah, Samard with pole position by just over 2/10 over Phil Vitt. Philippe Vitt. I don't know. Phil and Philippe. Easily confused. Parsons now in third. Also 2/10 off of Philippe Samard. So pretty tight qualifying session here, Brad. It was let's see. 1 through 14, 1 second off. Pretty good showing here by these guys.
Yeah, it was an exciting qualifying period, no question about it. I think, coming out best perhaps, aside from Philippe Samard, second in championship points, tied for second. Perhaps as important as that one is Kevin Kirkbride coming in fourth in that session. And very, very tight grid, very compact grid because of the times. That's important for our championship leader to be up there as far as possible to stay out of trouble. On the flip side, for half the team French connection, Ian Jolicoeur sitting second in that team classification. He's back there with some work to do and in danger of running afoul of any mishaps taking place in front. So Ian Jolicoeur is going to have to be very careful here on the opening laps to make sure that he can secure some good points for that team by the end of this race.
Great synopsis, Brad. Thank you. So we are 3 minutes before we go green here. Just anybody new watching out here on Twitch, we have Spotter's Guide. You'll see there on Twitch. You can click on the link, bring up the Spotter's Guide, follow your favorite driver on the track, and gives you the number, the car, their liveries, and who's behind the wheel. So nice little feature there if you want to keep tabs on people. Let's see, we ran down the point situation, and like Brad said, it is tight in the team championship. 29 points separating, well, make that 28 points now, separating first and second. So with 3 races to go, it's going to be great to see how that one shapes out here. As long as Phil can keep it together and Jolicoeur, both of them finish and score points, it's going to be a nice run there to the end. As Zach Hefner with a penalty tonight, starting from the back for podium hunters. That's another interesting thing for him as he makes his way through the field. Also, Kevin Kirkbride, his consistency, I talked about it in the write-up for tonight, but he's the only driver to complete every lap so far this season, which is pretty remarkable considering how difficult these cars are, and some of these tracks are just, it's tough. And the fact that he's got every lap nailed down so far. He's dodged quite a few bullets, a number of bullets recently, but he still brought it home in one piece and on the lead lap. So good job for Kevin. He's going to be tough to beat if he keeps it up. All right, so let's run down the starting order here for tonight, Brad. What do you say?
Sure, why not?
All right, so it is going to be Philippe Samard racing out of Canada on pole, followed by Phil Vitt, also Canadian front row. In second, Aaron Parsons out of Australia going to start in third. Kevin Kirkbride from the U.S. in fourth, and Chris Moses in fifth out of the USA.
Yeah, Mark DeGraw, I believe he races out of Canada, not 100%, but he's going to start 6th. Jesse Olsen from the U.S. in 7th. John Houston, another fellow Canadian, in 8th. Kevin Lekmansky in 9th. And Ian Jolicoeur racing out of Canada as well in 10th.
Alan Jacobs going to start 11th out of the U.S., as is Jake Feemster in 12th from the U.S. Kevin Miller out of Canada in 13th. Joel Ekman, I believe he's out of the USA, from 14th. Starting 14th, and John Watkins going to start 15th out of the U.S.
Yeah, David Zahn from the U.S. in 16th. And Schubeck hails from the California area in 17th. Sean Richter's a U.S. guy. Chuck Carter as well in 19th. And Gary Roth starts 20th.
Let's see, Brian Story going to start 21st. Pair of Argentinians, Omar and Iggy, 22nd and 23rd, and Hefner, then Traskell. We are about to go green from the Glen. And a tremendous start from Phil Vitt, as he got the whole shot on Samard. And can he hang on to it? No, it's going to be advantage Samard exiting turn 1. As the field makes their way into the S's.
Danger time now, especially for those at the back. These guys are really showing a lot of caution back here from what I'm seeing so far.
As the field makes their way into the loop, it is still Samard, Vitt, Parsons, and Kirkbride. 1st through 4th, Moses in 5th. So no change among the top 5 from their qualifying position. Nancy having a look on the inside, I believe on Houston. So looking pretty good there at the start, Brad.
Yeah, Zach
Alan
Hefner
Jacobs. Sorry, go ahead.
I was on board with Zach Hefner on that lap, and it was a pretty tense lap, but he did survive it, and most of the guys back there did.
Driving on board with Kevin Kirkbride as he tries to get a toe off Aaron Parsons. Gonna have a look on the inside. As these two go side by side. And can Kirkbride, Parsons runs it a little bit wide. But looks like Parsons going to hang on to that position. Jolicoeur and Moses. What a start from Jolicoeur, all the way from 11th to 5th.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I'm not sure how that happened, but it's a great spot for him to be right now.
Draw back in 7th.
Still on board with Zach Hefner back here, and it's kind of a building story for this team as he continues to try to work his way past Brian Story. Has not managed the feat yet in 3 laps.
Kirkbride going to have another run on Parsons. And Samard sets fast lap of the race. Not close enough this time. Whoa! Looked like Parsons was going to run it off track, but Kirkbride giving Parsons everything he can handle. Schubeck. Oh, I thought he was out of the race. No, he is still in there. I've got some weird notifications here on the service.
It looks like Kirkbride is going to go through for that position. So with the 20 kilograms of success ballast, Kevin Kirkbride still taking that spot over from Aaron Parsons in 4th.
Now John Houston threatening here on Chris Moses as they gets a run on him into turn 1.
These cars really move around and small.
Oh, is that Jolicoeur that ran it wide? It is. As he was closing up on this Parsons, Kirkbride battle. DeGrasse has gotten past Moses, and now Houston's going to have a run on him. It looked like he was closer than he was. I think Houston had to lift there through the S's. Kirkbride has made his way around Parsons into third. This field is really bunched up here. On board with Kevin Miller back in 11th.
Yeah, it is Schubeck now. It has gone to the back of the field, so I'm sure it's up with that.
So it looks like Parsons might have made some kind of bobble as Joe LaCour now has gotten past Aaron Parsons. Parsons back in 5th.
Oh boy, so Aaron Parsons dropping quickly back from his third place starting position, and boy, already 5.5 seconds off of that Samard lead out.
Houston now has tightened that gap up with Chris Moses and looking to get a run on him. As these guys going to go side by side into the chute. I think that's the loop and then into the chute. And Houston gets the job done and draws Moses back down another position. Moses looking to answer.
I don't believe Moses in any way is done yet, Al. Well, might not. Ooh, but maybe he is. And now taking some heat from behind from
Lemansky,
second place runner.
Oh, Moses with a little bit of a bobble is now under fire from Lemansky and Jacobs.
Oh boy.
Jacobs having a look on the inside, but just not close enough. Meanwhile, Kevin Miller is going to get a run on Jacobs, and he's forced to lift there.
I tell you that I think these cars are, the nature of the handling really does change quite a bit depending on the fuel load aboard. We're seeing guys that were fast in qualifying not looking so good in the race. I think that's going to flip the script when the fuel burns off, Al. I think we're going to see the guys slow down, become faster in the later part of the stints. This is going to be pretty fascinating.
Kevin Miller trying to get around the outside of Alan Jacobs, and he gets it done. Mansky under threat now from Moses, but hangs on to that position. Keeping an eye on the gap out front. It is under 2 seconds between Samard and Pitt. It's a frantic start to this race, Brad. Very tight.
Yeah, it really is. And I tell you, I'm kind of watching the Parsons gap. I want to see if Parsons is going to be able to hold his gap to the first place leader Samard right now. That gap continues to open up. And that could indicate Samard being possibly low on fuel or some type of strategy stuff. So I think that could be kind of a key variable I'm going to keep an eye on here over the next couple laps, Al.
Zach Hefner had to take some evasive action there in turn 1 as Zod got out of shape. And he's looking for a way past Zod. A little indecisiveness there. But Hef looks like may get it done here as Zahn takes it way wide.
Jeff will go through for that position. It is right now that French connection team looking so strong there. Philippe Samard in first and Ian Jolicoeur in fourth. So it
contact between Chuck Carter and David Zahn. Zahn out of shape. Like Chuck got into the back of him, and Chuck's got it all wrong again. Whoa! As Traskell nearly got into the sun. Chuck. So Carter is back at it here, but big mistake there.
Moses at the back, Al. I don't know what's happened here, but Moses 23rd place at the moment.
Hey, yeah, that's not good. Moses did not see what happened there, was following the Chuck Carter, Zahn, Hefner situation. But Moses may have. Oh, he's got issues. It looks like his suspension is in one piece. Now, up front, Parsons putting the heat on Joe LaCour. As Kirkbride, after making that pass on Parsons, has really distanced himself. He has got about a 3-second gap over Joe LaCour in third.
Yeah, he sure does. And you know what? I think Ian Jolicoeur just came up a little too short on his practice or the nature of the track. It just didn't allow him really to fine-tune it enough to get up the pace quickly enough. And, well, Parsons is kind of paying for it right now, but it is helping out Philippe Soulard because it's holding back some guys who might otherwise be able to try to dig into that Soulard lead at the front. So Ian Jolicoeur doing his job by being a little slow in the night out.
John Luden checking into the chat. I thought he was going to run tonight.
Oh.
Talked about it.
Shame we don't see him out on track tonight. I guess we'll have to wait till Thursday.
This is definitely looking to be a fun track for these guys. There's a lot of dicing going on here. As Parsons now looking on the outside of Joe LaCour, but Parsons, he manages to keep it on track. And makes the pass. Yeah,
again, the outside corner, if it's kind of a high speed, not tight corner, actually the outside's not a bad place to be with this particular car. You can hold a bit better momentum out there.
And we got even more action here. Feemster, Watton. Jake looking on the inside. Jake currently in 11th. Trying to make his way past John Watton. Behind them is Joel Ekman, running where he started in 12th.
Big correction coming through the S's. These cars really do kind of pendulum back and forth. They have this strange kind of horizontal oscillation through the suspension, which people have said for quite a while.
See if Jake can get it done. And it looks like he's got the pass made, but Watton now doing the old up and under. And is now looking to, get that position back. Nice job by Watton. Oh, with a big slide and correction. Yeah, what a great battle that was. Just ahead of them on track, it's Jacobs and Miller going at it.
Luden comment about looking pretty hard out there for these drivers. Look, this is no joke. It really is. It's a pretty tough track and car combination tonight. We've had some doozies, but this one in particular, it's pretty rough out there.
Doesn't look like Joel's going to be close enough. Well, I take that back. Nope. Looks like the outside at turn 6 is the quicker way around, Brad. Some guys make passes on the outside there. Let's see. Whoa, what happened there?
As Feemster, I believe, had to take some evasive action or cause a huge wreck, and he did. It was well, but it was a flick move that he managed to save.
And he's managed to get past Watton in the process, but right there is Zach Hefner. Now Watton with an ambitious move into turn 1 and gets the pass made.
Hefner going to have to be really careful now as these guys battle so strong. You have to figure Hefner will have pace over these two, particularly as they battle, but Hefner now coming under pressure. Oh my God, what a battle.
Side by side with Ekman. On board with Hefner. These guys aren't giving an inch.
I've seen Zach Hefner there. For the
contact between Feemster, but they managed to keep it under A little slight wheel-to-wheel contact, but Phoebes are looking to get past. He does. Now it's Ekman looking to get by Watkins. And on board with Hefner, he's just tiptoeing his way. Whoa, whoa! And manages to hang on to it, but did have some contact with Ekman.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if Ekman got loose and had that pendulum effect at the rear, or if he just kind of didn't see him over there. But nonetheless, well survived by Zach Hefner. That was as close as it gets, and this is what he's dealing with here, knowing that the championship is potentially on the line here tonight for Zach Hefner. He is extra stress in that cockpit.
Watson again has gotten back past Jake in turn 1. It's rinse and repeat here.
Yeah, it sure is. These guys are really doing a pretty masterful job. I hope that, as stressful as it is for these guys, as fun as it is for us in the booth, I hope we see it all night, because the alternative is some big wrecks and a lot of body parts laying all over the track. So.
Rock creeping up on Jolicoeur for 5th. Now Hefner with the move on the outside of the final corner and gets the pass made on Ekman.
Yeah, and battles throughout the pack. We have a battle almost for the last guys on track in position-wise, or over 23rd place. So everybody in direct fights all the way around the track, Al.
Watson, Kirkbride has closed up on Vitt for 2nd. Watson with a bit of wheel spin exiting turn 1, slowed his momentum down a bit, giving Hefner a run on him.
But no battle more intense than this one over the top 10.
Okay, and Hefner has gotten past. Oh, and now he's gotten past Phoebes. So Hefner, 3 cars gone, and in a matter of a couple laps, and is now up in the top 10.
Yeah, that was an important move for Hefner to get through this battle. We figured that he would have a little pace, got a lot of, as we see it, the insides of the S's. Yeah, that's never going to work. Never going to work. It looks plenty wide enough, but it just is not. There's not enough front grip on offer to get through the second part of the S's there if you go side by side.
Yeah, it can be done in the GT cars, not in these things.
No.
Ooh, Ekman had a run on Watson there, but elected to lift instead.
Bump draft almost.
Watson Jolicoeur lose a spot now to DeGraw. DeGraw now up to 5th.
Now, DeGraw's looking a little sharper. Ian Jolicoeur just has not been able to quite hang with the early pace that he showed. I'm in an 08.9, but that is pretty far off of, let's say, his teammate there in first. His teammates running about 8 tenths a lap faster.
Ricker and Olsen, not sure what happened to, oh yeah, he had to serve a drive who came out and has just gotten past his teammate. Ricker running in 16th. Oh, Zahn has turned it. Oh, he's got suspension damage. He's got significant damage to that car. And he is going to be in a tough spot there, trying to get out of the way of some guys.
Yeah, but through 16 laps, I have to tell you, this is probably the most significant damage we've seen yet, and we have no retirements yet here.
Yeah, no retirements so far, as Samard sits fast lap of the race with a 108.3.
Yeah, so pretty impressive, really. Unfortunate, very unfortunate for Zahn. He's put in a good practice this week, but
so it's a shake-up up front. Sorry, all the action out back. We missed Vitt. Drop of position to Kirkbride. So Kirkbride running in second, and he is actually matching the pace of Samard. He's just a tenth or so off of Samard's best lap of the race.
Yeah, and I really suspect that we're seeing Kirkbride now enjoy better pace simply due to his setup as handling the fuel weight a little bit better than it did in qualifying, right? We saw him in fourth in qualifying, but now in the race, looking pretty good. So, I suspect that just comes down to setup being a little bit more compliant with the heavier fuel load.
With John Wathen. Zahn has made it into the pit lane. Wathen and Ekman side by side. Working lap 18 of 54. Pit window is going to be lap 27, so they got about 9 laps to go before halfway.
Yeah, I would say we'd see guys anywhere between lap 30 and 40 is when the majority of the stops should cycle through.
And they're going to try and go side by side here. Ekman and, no, Ekman got better of it, but closing up on these guys is Jesse Olsen. And Olsen's got some pace.
Yeah, he sure does. He had to jump through the pits for penalty. Had to serve a penalty this week for transgression last week, but has been moving up through the field nicely and looking.
Big side by side.
No.
Is Wathen. Ekman gets caught up in it, and he is sideways. This is got to be very careful out of here. So that was looks like Wathen got sideways. Story looks to get past. Wathen got sideways, and there was no way Ekman could avoid that. And Olsen was very lucky to get through there without contact. Brad, it was, the way things are going, it was just a matter of time.
And unfortunately, Olsen did have a little bit of contact, and I think actually that suspension is just a teeny bit deranged. So not ideal here for Jesse Olsen, but yeah, by and large, he did get through. It could have been much worse.
So that drops Ekman down to 19th, and Wathen is in 17th. Ekman, it looks like his suspension is straight, so he looks like he's okay, and he's going to try and make his way back past Brian Story here.
Yeah, and really, frankly, it's kind of a tough deal for John Wathen. I mean, he has been putting in fantastic results, really. The last 3 races has been putting in as good results, really, as anybody. So to be back in 17th now.
Contact! Ekman and Story! Story nearly got it into the wall, but he got all 4 wheels off the ground. Wow.
Wow, so surprising to even see that car still running, I guess.
That was pretty remarkable. Let's check out that replay here.
Oh, I forgot the boom. Al.
I got it.
Oh, my bad.
I'm all over.
Oh,
the Story takes it off. Oh, Lemansky has dropped some positions here. Oh, yeah, he was all 4 off the ground and nearly got it into the wall, but Lemansky has fallen back to 14th and now is looking to get past Sean Rickard. And it looks like he's going to get it done.
I'm not even sure what happened to Kevin after that, after his start, but
all right, so things have kind of settled down momentarily. We're going to take a look at the running order. It is Philippe Samard leading the race, 6 seconds up on Kevin Kirkbride in second, followed by Phil Vitt running in third. Not far off of him is Aaron Parsons in fourth. Mark DeGraw now in 5th. Joe LaCour running in 6th and coming under, well, I shouldn't say that. He's not coming under pressure from anybody. It is John Houston in 7th. Kevin Miller behind him in 8th. And Miller and Houston have had a bunch of action together this season. Alan Jacobs running in the top 10 and under pressure from Hefner. He's looking to pick up another spot here after starting from the back. And it looks like he's going to get past. So it's now Hefner in 9, Jacobs 10th. Jake Feebster running at 11th. Jesse Olsen up to 12th. Evan Lemansky runs in 13th. Sean Ricker and Chris Moses now side by side. This is for 14th. And Moses cannot get the pass made, so Ricker remains at 14th for now. Moses is going to have a look into turn 1. Swings out wide. And he's not going to get it done. Oh, maybe he is. Something's got to give here, and Ricker does give up that position. So it's Moses 14th, Ricker 15th. He may get a run on Moses here. Down the end of the straight. Does not look like he's going to be close enough. So Schubeck now runs in the points in 16th. He had a little bit of problems at the start, but has battled back. Ekman running in 17th, followed by Story. And Watkins, he's done. Watkins, our first retirement of the evening. Story in 18th, Gary Roth running in 19th, followed by Iggy Chiordia in 20th, Chuck Carter running in 21st, Tommy Traskell in 22nd, Omar Gomez in 23rd, and David Zahn a couple laps back due to some damage repairs. Excuse me, but he will pick up that 24th. Now, Parsons having a look on Phil Vitt here. This is for 4th. Third.
Parsons has looked sharper and sharper lap after lap, running, good 3 to 4 tenths a lap faster than Phil Vitt at the moment. And again, it really comes down to fuel. I've heard from more than one driver this week saying just how big an impact the fuel weight was having on lap time. So. And car handling in general, and I think we're really seeing that here tonight. So Parsons picking up time on the lighter fuel load.
Yeah, Phil Vitt qualified in 2nd, but his lap times are a bit off of the guys around him. The top 6 guys aside from him run quicker, best in this race so far. Parsons having a look on the outside of turn 6 and gets the pass made pretty handily on Vitt. So Vitt's going to drop another spot, and right there is Mark DeGraw. Look at the pounce.
Yeah, that's the problem. Vitt, made it very easy for Aaron Parsons, but you know what? If he doesn't find a better rhythm, Phil Vitt, then he might be having to make that same move again over Parsons. As it's a bit of a mistake up there by Phil Vitt. So I think you're right. Mark DeGraw is smelling a bit of blood in the water at this point for that 4th spot.
Ball with Zach Hefner, who started back. Big wreck! Oh, Phil Vitt! Just caught that. DeGraw and Vitt, and Joe LaCour threads the needle. Vitt has pulled it, and Samard is off as well. Our leader is off with suspension damage.
Well, that's what we were worried about the whole time, as the order's gotten seriously shooken up, but coming through the S's, somebody banged off the Armco, and there's no place for the leaders to go, Al. Big damage for Philippe Samard.
So it looks like Carter is in the pits, Olsen. So So I'm not sure who that was, but Samard with significant damage. Well, the good thing for him at this point, he's can fill it with fuel and get back out there once he gets everything repaired. DeGraw, meanwhile, back in 10th. He's also got damage. Vitt is done, so.
Can Kirkbride get any luckier than he has gotten in these races this season, Al?
Yeah, he's had a number of, well, I don't know about a number, but I know of at least one race that has been, well, in particular, Silverstone, we had that big wreck amongst the leaders, and he skated past it.
He's driven, obviously, exceptionally well, but boy, he has gotten the luck this season, able to squeak through, or where others have run into trouble through no fault of their own. I mean, Samard having pedal issues, of all things, right? Wow.
So big shake-up.
That's great.
Yeah, big shake-up in the running order. It is Kirkbride, your new leader. As we just reached the halfway point of the race, Parsons running in second, Joe LaCour now up to third. So, I'm wondering if Samard is done. So I'm wondering if those two incidents were related, or were they separate, Samard and Vitt, as well as DeGraw. I don't know if it was just Olsen now done as well.
Not sure, and it's hard to say. Was it a case of one of those front runners trying to take a chance to get through a wreck, where if they had slowed up, maybe they could have made it through? It's it's all kind of a mystery because we just didn't catch enough of it. But I don't know. I mean, if I'm Philippe Samard, I don't give it up, man. I'm out there. I'm fighting if I'm that close in that championship. I definitely don't pull the chute there.
As Hefner looking on the inside of Kevin Miller and gets the pass made. So nice job there by Hef, as now Kirkbride resets fast lap for the race with a 1:08.1. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much gonna knock him out of it. I mean, he may still be mathematically in it, but unless he wins outright the next two and Kirkbride has some kind of problem tonight and DNFs the next two races, it's unlikely Samard will repeat as your Monday night drivers champion.
Well, it's the team as well, right? I mean, with those retirements now, there's actually a decent amount of the field that has gone out. I mean, if you can even recover 1 or 2 points for your team, there's no reason not to. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, why else are you're racing if you aren't gonna race, right? I mean, you're in it, you should be in it, but I don't know. I know it's going to be now some pretty, it's going to be much easier points now for our team leaders. They're podium hunters with Zach Hefner now up to 5th place. I mean, not only did he get those positions from those leaders ahead, but now they don't have to do anything but just kind of put it in cruise control the rest of the race, right?
Yeah, good point. Let's see now. Hefner is running very quick at this point. He is starting to close up on John Houston, who is 4 seconds ahead in 4th. So Hefner's drive to the front continues. He's come out unscathed so far through 29 laps after starting from the rear. Ooh. Yeah, so Phil Vitt said the track was blocked as he was coming out, and there was nothing he could do. He killed the engine. That's unfortunate. DeGraw followed suit, but tough way to end the night for Phil. And what was looking to be a great run after qualifying on the front row.
Yeah, too bad. Sure has changed the nature of this race, but I think there's still a pretty good race on offer as we see Aaron Parsons now. You know what, Al? He's holding pace right now with Kevin Kirkbride. I think that Parsons has found a little something as this race has gone on, and stops coming up pretty soon for these guys. So get a chance to reset and maybe try to figure out a way through some strategy to gain some ground on each other, huh?
Yeah, so Kirkbride just running a hair quicker than Parsons his last few laps. Kirkbride with a little slower lap his last time by. But yeah, we look at the field kind of spread out at the moment. As we wait for pit stops to begin, Kevin Miller now closing up on Thomas Schubeck, who is a lap down. And we see Moses now running back in 18th, 2 laps behind.
Interesting. So I wonder if he's made like a scheduled type of stop. His lap times kind of indicate that has been the case. I think Moses has stopped now.
Okay, so yeah, Moses looks like he's come in, but I did not think he was already a lap down.
He was running back there somewhere. Yeah, he was not looking all that great out.
So Kevin Miller gets past Thomas Schubeck. Lemansky running, trying to close up on Jake Feemster running in 8th, but those two teammates should not be an issue here. If Lemansky's quicker, I believe Jake will just let him pass. But as we run right now, it's Kirkbride out front, and what started off for 20 some odd laps without a retirement aside from Watkins. We've seen Samard, Vitt, Traskell, Carter, 7 laps in behind. He's essentially out. Olsen out and Wathen out.
Yeah, unfortunately, had a big wreck, which did change the nature of the race quite a bit. But it happens, and that's just the nature of the track. So high speed, blind, frankly, very difficult to find a place to go. Even if you do see a problem up ahead, cars just kind of pinball off the Armco, especially in that section, and wind up in the middle of the track.
So Hefner has quickly made up ground here on John Houston, and he's starting to close the gap to just about a second and a half or so. As we're right on board with Hefner.
Yeah, that's an interesting development. I would say that that Parsons also there in second, trying to chase down the lead, looks stronger and stronger lap after lap here. So he continues to make some noise. But it's really Ian Jolicoeur, who I think has finally figured out the track too, Al. And so, looks like
Kirkbride's in on lap 33. Parsons will take over the lead of the race. Yeah, so this is going to be interesting here to see what Parsons' strategy is. If he runs it to lap 40, he's going to have a quicker pit stop. He's got some free track ahead of him to bang out some fast laps. And he has a chance here to make up that ground in the pits and on track.
Yeah, Parsons' early pace really would suggest that he was heavier on fuel. So we'll see if that actually is the case when he comes in, of course. But it was really looking that way, and that's why I was keeping I mentioned it early on, his pace relative to the unfortunate retired Philippe Samard. So we'll see what happens here.
So Kirkbride rejoins in 6th, Jolicoeur out in 9th. Hefner has stayed out. Go ahead, Brad.
Sorry, I got to step away just for a couple minutes. Be right back.
So as we continue to follow Hefner here, got to suspect Houston and Parsons on the similar strategy. Hefner, not so much with his teammate Kirkbride, as Hefner starting from the back might have filled it full of fuel, and he's going to try and run as deep as he can here. So, but he's running very quick now, and really closing up quickly on John Houston for second. We've seen this happen from time to time here on Monday nights. You see, oh, big slide from Houston. You see the field running particularly well through almost the first half of the race, and then the wheels start coming off for some of these guys. It's been a few times we've seen a bevy of retirements midway through the race after starting so well. And so this race began very clean. We didn't see much, any real contact aside from self-induced stuff, but after now really turning the screws here as he tries to get past, John Houston. Right on board with Houston. Looks like Hefner's going to get a run on him. He's got the legs. Oh, they remain side by side. But it looks like Hefner's going to get the pass done. See if Houston can counter here as Jacobs drives into the pits. Had a look on the inside, but thought better of it. Now it's going to move Hefner into a second position for now.
What a ridiculously fortuitous sequence of events and some fantastic driving by Zach Hefner to be running so far up the grid from that basically final starting position. Unbelievable. What a run.
So Lemansky has gotten past his teammate, so they're running 6th and 7th now. Sean Ricker remains the last car on the lead lap. Parsons at lap 36. Let's take a look at his lap times. He ran a little bit of a bobble there, 109 flat, but his last lap was a 108.3. 108.6, battling with the similar lap times as Parsons.
Parsons is...
Go ahead.
Sorry, Al. Parsons is in great shape here. I think he can.
Ooh,
he's definitely going to pick up some time.
Just resets fast lap of the race.
Yeah, he's going to pick up quite a bit of time here. At the very least, he's going to come out right, all other things being equal, come out right behind Kevin Kirkbride. So, I think he's absolutely in a great position.
Let's see, Chiordia in the pits, as is Gomez. Oh, Jacobs, he's been in the pits for a while, so he must have had some incident that's caused him some significant repair times.
Too bad. It was running well inside the top 10 at one point now, so it's unfortunate.
So I suspect Moses must have had some kind of big incident as he remains back. Oh, and Jacobs is done. Moses remains back in 16th, 2 laps down. You got Iggy, who's pitted ahead of him on track, same with Story. So tough season for Moses continues here tonight. His teammate Schubeck running in 12th, and it looks like who's that coming into the pit lane? That might be
Parsons.
Oh, it is Parsons. So comes in on lap 38. 31 seconds over Kirkbride. This has to be a quick stop for Parsons. Where is Kirkbride on track? He is coming around the final corner. Parsons is away. Kirkbride. Is he going to have a run on Parsons as he exits the pits? He does not. Parsons is going to come out ahead of Kevin Kirkbride.
Yeah.
But Houston remains out on track, as does Hefner. But I don't think Hefner's going to have enough to get past either of these two. So I think that was the move of the race right there. Top three right now still need to pit.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Hefner and Houston just did not have the time in hand before those stops. So all other things being equal, between those two at the front, I think it's going to come down to Parsons or Kirkbride. And frankly, Parsons did show the stronger pace on the lighter fuel load. So let's just give him the advantage here.
So it's amazing that those 4 or 5 extra laps that Parsons stayed out allowed him to come out ahead of Kirkbride, who came in about roughly 5 to 6 seconds ahead of Parsons before that when Kirkbride finally came in and was supposed to call the stop.
Well, we see that gap right now, about 0.5 of a second, right? And that was the measure of that fast lap that Aaron Parsons put in before that lap time. I mean, for all we know, that one single lap could have made the difference with Parsons actually getting by for the lead. So it was very well measured, and Parsons did enough. And I was seeing it kind of in the cards. He was putting in slightly better laps than Kirkbride. So, but
Kirkbride certainly looking strong down the straights. Both of Hefner and Kirkbride seem to be carrying a little bit more speed than some of these guys down the straight. So we'll see what Kirkbride can do here. But certainly these guys, if they get close, they'll get a run down through the S's and before the loop. So still 14 laps remain for Kirkbride to get past Parsons. But hey, look who's out front right now. It is Kevin Miller leading on lap 40.
We commented on what a poor qualifying Kevin Miller had and race start, and suddenly he finds himself fighting really in the top 5 here toward the end of this race. So nice run up for Kevin Miller tonight.
So expect Kevin to pit the next lap or so. Houston comes out 3 seconds behind Joe LaCour. Hefner comes out behind Lemansky. Did Lemansky pit yet? No, I don't believe he has. Feebster. So those two guys still need to pit. Lemansky and Jake. Schubeck and Ekman having a nice tussle here.
Kevin Miller in.
So Kevin Miller in from P1. So Parsons and Kirkbride quickly make their way past. Be interesting if Miller can come out ahead of John Houston. Keep an eye on that. Jake has stayed out, currently running in 3rd. Lemansky looks like he's gone into the pits. He has. And Miller comes out. Where's Houston? Oh, and Houston misses out. Oh, but is he going to get a run on him? He's going to go side by side through the S? Whoa, that was hairy. But Miller may get a run on him here down the straight. He will.
The only way for Houston to get by was to make that big lift through the second part of the S's there. So that's going to make Miller have to get that run.
Whoa, very close there. Having a look on the inside now at Houston. Whoa! Continue to run side by nearly contact. Got a lap car ahead. Omar does a nice job getting out of the way.
Fortunately, Omar had hit his head on a swivel. Nice dice coming out of the pits for those two, and it is still on like Donkey Kong, really, toward the front. Just a second and a half separating those two. Just 12 laps to go. Plenty of positions still at stake.
Miller, one of the last guys to pit. Houston came in a couple laps before him. Now Miller having a look on the outside of Houston. Let's see if Miller has any luck. No, now looking on the outside, back to the inside. This is great.
Yeah, John Houston doing
Big
a
slide
little.
from Houston. That's going to give Kevin Miller time to close the gap up here into turn 1.
Just got to focus on hitting the exit here if you're John Houston. Just got to get the right kind of exit out of here. And, well, actually, the S is too in these cars because you do have to throttle through here to make sure you can hold it clean through the second part. And that the draft effect does take part.
Whoa! That was close. That was very close for Kevin Miller on Houston. Oh, and a big slide from Houston. Yeah, but Miller's going to have a run on him here. Going to look on the outside. Back to the inside. Again.
And once again, we're seeing the outside of John Houston on that. The last 3 laps, has managed to hold the line right and carry more momentum, but Miller might have a legitimate look this time into 1.
Oh, they bump. A little bit of a bump. Now Houston's got to give it up there, and Miller now. Oh, Houston takes it off into the grass, and that's going to slow him down and not going to give him enough of a draft to get a run on Miller. Boy, I tell you what, these two have gone tooth and nail the entire season. They have had some great battles between the two, right into the pits. Good job by both those guys. Meanwhile, Parsons continues to lead. He's picked up a little bit of time. He's got 1.8 seconds over Kevin Kirkbride, running in second. 9 laps to go. Hefner with a tremendous drive running in third. And I'll tell you what, Brad, his long stint got him out in front of Joe LaCour by a wide margin. So failed to pick that up, but I just noticed that now. So Joe LaCour running in 4th, followed by Miller Houston in 6th. Running 5th and 6th. Almansky after pitting, he's running in 7th, and Jake Phelps are running in 8th. Another great drive by both these guys. Ricker, last car in the lead lap, running in 9th. After he got caught up, he is repaired and in 10th, followed by Schubeck in 11th. Ekman running in 12th. Roth is pitted, he is in 13th, followed by Story in 14th. Chiordia running in 15th. Moses 16th, last car on the lead lap. I'm sorry, last car in the points, and then Zahn and Gomez. That gap has shrunk a little bit to about a second between Kirkbride and Parsons.
Yeah, right now those guys running pretty darn similar pace. I still expect Aaron Parsons to have a bit of an advantage as the laps truly do wind down, but they're clicking away very quickly here, Al. So just a little over a minute a lap. We're going to finish this race here in about another 8 minutes or so.
Look at Parsons last few times by 108.3, 108.5, 108.9 to Kirkbride, 108.5, 108.4 his last time by. So running a hair quicker than Parsons. So Parsons does have some lap traffic coming up ahead of him, Sean Ringer, but that should not be an issue. Parsons has yet to win a race this season, Brad.
Shocking.
It is, and if he can keep it together here, he will be, as he tries to make his way past Ricker, he does without an issue. Oh, a big slide for Parsons. Brad's going to have to follow suit here. Nice job by Ricker as Brad makes his way past.
Yeah, it's kind of, if Aaron Parsons holds on, it's going to be kind of a rare way for him to win. He's kind of pulling a page out of Brad's handbook, which is, have kind of somewhat halfway okay pace, and then just get totally stupidly lucky to come away with the win. So it's rare for Aaron Parsons to earn that type of win, but that's exactly what he's in line here for tonight, because he did have a little bit of a hand of luck come in to propel him to the top spot tonight.
Parsons, if he can hang on here, it's going to be his first win since round 4 of last season. Monza. So it's been a bit of a drought for Parsons here as he runs in 4th.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
It was sorely needed for him and the team, really. Both drivers did look much better, and we talked about it there, even as early as qualifying. Both these drivers did look much better, Aaron Parsons and John Houston this week. So hopefully they'll continue to have the strong showings right to the end of the season.
So speaking of John Houston, he has Lemansky out.
Oh,
huh. Well, that's a tough break for Lemansky. Did not see what happened there, but he is unable to continue and has called it a night. As we're on board here with John Houston as he's close back up to Kevin Miller. So this is for 5th. And a battle for 11th as, Schubeck has gotten past Joel Ekman. So Schubeck now actually moves up to 10th with the retirement of Lemansky.
Yeah, one driver's loss is another driver's gain, and Schubeck will definitely take it. I'm almost afraid to go on board with Thomas Schubeck. I've been rooting for that top 10 for him all season, and I don't want to jinx it, Al.
Yeah, he's definitely been a bit snake bit this season. He's had been involved in a bunch of incidents that really not of his doing. So he's definitely due for a positive result. And that's a guy that doesn't quit. He's constantly finishing the races if he can. So, but it is now Kevin Miller under threat here from John Houston. You saw that timing go red. That was within a second here. Let's see if Houston can get a nice exit out of turn 1 here. He may be able to close up on him down the straight. I've been falling under threat from DeGraw now. Oh, DeGraw back into the pits.
Oh.
Kevin Miller defending the inside. And here we go again. Some more side-by-side action.
A little tougher to run the outside on this particular corner on these cars, but it can still work.
Houston made that one look easy. Oh, and he gets it wrong.
Oh, no.
With a big slide and turnaround, just carrying, DeGraw's done, but carrying just a little too much speed into that corner was Houston. So that's the breathing room Miller needed to lock up that top 5 finish. Gap's now 9 seconds. Sorry, go ahead.
Houston 6th position not in danger there from the 7th place Jake Feemster, who himself has had a nice run tonight, but not quite close enough to take advantage of that John Houston spin.
So it is Aaron Parsons leading by 1.2 seconds over Kirkbride, with Parsons about to start lap 52 of 54. That gap is now close to about a second here as we jump on board with Kirkbride.
Yeah, all things being equal, it's looking like it's going to be Parsons' day, but if you're within a second, it sure doesn't take much of a mistake in front for you to find a way to slip past. So Kirkbride doing what he needs to do to try to cap this thing off, though, honestly. I mean, you know, it's just kind of piling up wins at this point, so it's not really needed.
Oh, Miller into the pits.
Oh!
What happened with Miller as now he goes into the pit lane? Unbelievable. And he's missed his box. Oh my God, I'm not sure what happened to Miller there, but not sure if he didn't take enough fuel for that final that second stint or what, but that's moved. Well, Feemster. Well, he's come out of the pits ahead of Feemster, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But the gap between Parsons and Kirkbride now, 9/10 of a second.
I think he had the time over Feemster. It's a pretty quick stop. He reversed through his pit just because he was in reverse, actually. So I think he actually knocked it in reverse before but it was a timed pit stop, so he took a bit of fuel there.
That's interesting. So bit of a miscalculation there from Kevin Miller. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But gives that spot back up to Houston. So Houston now in 5th. But closest battle on track right now, it's the one for the lead here between Parsons and Kirkbride. And there's Parsons just ahead.
Yeah, Kirkbride probably happy to, you know, have only quote unquote that 20 kilograms. I mean, we've seen him have as much as like 50 over the course of the season and through much of the season. So, but he's going to be packing on a little bit more here tonight, whether it's second or first place.
Ooh, Parsons coming up on Iggy, who's a lap down.
Oh, it's just
bit
never
of a
easy.
checkup there as he was working the last lap of the race with Kirkbride. Kirkbride picking up a couple tenths there. But does not look like Kirkbride's going to be close enough. As they make their way into the chute for the last time. These two corners remain for Parsons. And all things considered, it looks like he's going to get the win here over Kirkbride by just 4/10 of a second. Great battle between those two guys, and Zach Hefner is going to finish in 3rd. Probably the drive of the night here, aside from that of the winner, but Hefner starting from the back to take 3rd. And Joe LaCour is going to cross the line here in 4th. Nice run for him. And a bit further back, it's going to be John Houston. Looks like he's going to hang on to 5th. Followed up by Kevin Miller in 6th, who has Jake Feemster closing up on him, but just not enough time for Jake to get around Miller. So nice run by both Kevin Miller and Jake Feemster. What a run from Parsons. Let's see if we can bring him up here and have a word with him. If I can find him. is he? There he is. Climbing the ladder here. Aaron Parsons, do you copy?
I do well.
Congratulations. What a great run you had here tonight, finishing first, your first win in quite some time. I think I talked about it earlier, round 4 last season at Monza, I believe. I tell you what, you had a pretty decent qualifying, but not sure what happened there. We saw Samar get caught up and Vitt and a few other guys get tangled up with, I believe Brad said it might have been a lap car, not sure. But battle was then on between you and Kirkbride. He stayed out about 4 or 5 laps longer than him, and after he had about a 5 or 6 second cushion on you going into the pits for his stop, and you come out of the pits just ahead of him.
Yeah, the race worked out really well. I had finally I had decent pace for once, and wasn't too far off Samad and Kirkbride pace-wise, which was good. And had some good luck during the race. That huge wreck at the S's, I think there was 4 cars there. And I was able to sneak through the middle. I saw the yellow flag come up going into the S's, and I thought, right, this is going to be dangerous. So I got lucky there, and I clipped the wall once myself in the S's. Didn't hurt the car, so I was lucky there too.
Well, you did have a good bit of luck there. I happened to mention that on the broadcast. Congratulations on the win, but you also had to drive pretty well, and really it came down to probably the difference in the fuel load, the refueling time, and those extra laps. And you made very good use of those laps when Kirkbride had come in versus the time that until you came in and took those extra laps out on track. Were you pretty aware of the time that you needed to make up on those laps to try to gain that position over him when you did finally come into the pits?
No, I wasn't actually sure, but I knew it would be close based on the lap that he came in and the lap that I was going to pit. So I wanted to do well on those laps and have a good in lap. So it worked out really well just to come out in front of him. I knew once I came out in front, I'd have a good shot at the win because I was able to match his pace in the first stint with a heavier fuel load on my car. I just want to say I want to dedicate this win to my new best friend Eden. Meeting her might have been the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Oh, well, that's wonderful, Aaron. Good for you. And
Thank you.
I gotta ask you real quick. So this has got to be a bit of a confidence booster for you. I know you guys really seemed to struggle last week at Monza with the car, both you and Houston. I mean, what was it between last week and today that you guys figured out? Or was it just the track? Or was it something you guys figured out with the setup that helped you tonight?
Going into Monza, we were really struggling, and then we got some setup help, and I actually did a lot better than I expected during the race. I just ran out of fuel. Otherwise, I could have finished 3rd or 4th place. So it was something that we got on the setup going into Monza that really helped. And then I just further developed the setup for this track, and I was able to get the car where I liked it.
Well, that's great. It's great to see you guys back out front here tonight. But congratulations again. We'll move over to Bridgehampton next week. Another Kevin Lemansky creation, and it's going to be, that's one heck of a track. I don't know if you had much exposure there yet, do any laps there, but seems like the guys with weight this season hasn't been much of an effect in terms of pace. Do you expect much of the same there, or not sure?
I'm not sure. I've heard from other people that the track is very challenging, so it's going to be interesting learning a new track, and I think it should be a high quality track for us to race on.
All right. Well, congratulations again, Aaron, and tell your new best friend to jump on Twitch and give us a follow. What do you say?
I will.
All right. All right. Good job, buddy. Good luck next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Brad. Well, they have another one in the books, and I tell you what, that was a pretty phenomenal race, especially the first stint. And for some of these guys, we had those retirements, and then some of the gaps really closed up, especially up front. Made it to be a pretty darn good race.
Yeah, and you got to hand it to Aaron. I think he was feeling it a little bit. He sounded maybe even a little emotional to come away with a win. It has been a little while for him, hasn't it? So, yeah, so that was great. But looking at kind of this particular season in general, it was a good night really for Kevin Kirkbride. He had actually kind of struggled a little bit for what he had been doing previous, coming away with only 21 points the last couple races, but put up a big chunk of points here tonight. And of course, with Samard and some of his other closest rivals falling to the wayside tonight, has really solidified himself in that drivers' championship. And frankly, I don't see a way for him to be caught for that season crown. So that's going to be a pretty good feeling for him. Can almost take a victory lap the next couple of events if he keeps his nose clean. And other than that, hey, it was a great race. We had some unfortunate retirements, but other than that, had a lot of fun at this one tonight. I think we got more or less what we expected, and just can't wait till next week at this new track. Haven't been at this one before, Al.
Yeah, it's quite a track. It's going to be pretty interesting in these cars. So we'll be back next week at 9 p.m. Eastern from Bridgehampton for round 11. Just 2 races to go in the season. Until then, we are back Thursday night for round 10 for the GT cars at Okayama in Japan. Join Jake, maybe me, depends if my new wheel shows up, this Thursday with Jack Ivy at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that should be a pretty good one. But until then, 9 p.m. Eastern next week. Hope everybody tunes in for that. And NorthAmericanGP.com. We're on Discord. Join up if you want to race either Monday or Thursday nights. It's a great time. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next week.